When you hear Montel Williams' name, you may think about The Montel Williams Show, which ran for an impressive 18 seasons between 1991 and 2008. But how much do you know about what he's been up to lately? Watch on to delve into Montel Williams' life these days. Montel Williams has been married 3 times and has 4 children. He shares 2 daughters with Rochelle C., who he was married to from 1982 to 1989. He shares his 2 other children, a son and a daughter, with Grace Morley, who was his spouse from 1992 until 2000. In 2007, he married Tara Fowler, who formerly worked as a flight attendant. Sadly, in 2010, 2 of Williams' children, Montel Jr. and Winter Grace, told the Daily News that although he was paying thousands of dollars a month in child support, things weren't great between them. The star's daughter admitted, "My dad is now like a stranger. Everyone knows him as a great guy, but he's not making the best choices as a parent." His son added, "I eat every night. I'm comfortable, but I can't say I have him as a father. There's all this fighting over things that shouldn't be a fight, like paying for my PSAT." Montel Jr., who is now a professional MMA fighter and marijuana advocate, said his dad was not a part of his life then, and kept the reason why simple, saying, "It's his choice." Their dad also released a statement regarding their relationship, saying, "I love my children very much. I do not believe parenting is best done in a public forum, and I will not comment on ongoing legal action involving my minor children." In a 2019 interview with The Athletic, Montel Jr. revealed that their relationships were being mended. One of Montel Williams' former romances hit the news in 2020 around the time of the presidential election, when plenty of people found out that he had dated Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. Us Weekly explained that a Twitter picture of Harris, Williams, and his daughter Ashley together hinted that the two were in a relationship together when Harris was working as city attorney in San Francisco. The tweeted photos sparked a fair share of reactions from the Twitter community, and while some were just finding out about Williams and Harris's past together, he had already addressed the situation when it buzzed in 2019, tweeting, "Kamala Harris and I briefly dated about 20 years ago when we were both single. So what? I have great respect for Senator Harris. I have to wonder if the same stories about her dating history would have been written if she were a male candidate." Williams told the Multiple Sclerosis News Today outlet that he was diagnosed with MS before he knew what it was. A doctor told the talk show host's wife at the time that it looked like he had it at an appointment. Williams later recalled, "That was on a Friday. On Saturday, he said to me, 'You have MS.'" The star added that the medical professional gave him some literature and predicted that Williams would be in a wheelchair within 4 years. The diagnosis devastated Williams, but he went on to battle the obstacles the disease has thrown at him. For Everyday Health, he said, "I had a choice to make. I could either spend the rest of my life feeling sorry for myself, or I could view my illness as a call to action." In the years since, Williams has spent much of his time coping with the disease and looking at various medical options to treat it, including a treatment called liberation therapy.
The theory behind the therapy is that there is a link between MS and vein blockages.
However, whether or not it's actually an effective treatment for MS has been hotly debated in the medical community, as it has seemed to help some patients but not others. In 2018, Montel Williams opened up to Good Morning America about another medical issue, this time a stroke he suffered. Williams explained to GMA, "I was in the gym, pushing one of those workouts. I heard this pop and I realized I'm the only person in this gym, so how is there a pop?" Fortunately, Williams had recently learned about the symptoms of a stroke while watching Dr. Oz.
I knew something happened, and I started recognizing some of the symptoms that literally they talk about all the time. That is a stroke.
When he realized what was going on, he managed to get to his wife, Tara Fowler. However, that wasn't easy, because while he had been on the 2nd floor of the building, Fowler was on the 14th floor. When Williams was finally able to reach his wife, he said, "Call an ambulance right now and tell them your husband just had a stroke." When paramedics arrived, they immediately did a CAT scan on the star, and a doctor talked to him on a video screen. It turned out that Williams suffered a hemorrhagic stroke, different from the more common kind. Apparently, if he hadn't gotten the right kind of help right away, it's possible he could have been treated for a different kind of stroke, meaning he would have been mistakenly treated with blood thinners, which could have killed him. He revealed that if he hadn't been able to reach his wife and get proper care, I would be dead today. According to Forbes, ever since Williams was diagnosed with MS, he has been searching for a safe and effective form of medicinal cannabis to help treat his disease, in spite of any naysayers.
If you, my doctor, says Montel use marijuana, everybody else can shut up and get out of my conversation.
Wanting to help make it available to the public after 17 years of research and advocacy, he launched a line of cannabis oils and products. Williams talked to Forbes about what he's doing with his company called Lenitive Labs, saying that their aim is to provide safe and clean choices for those suffering from MS and other diseases, saying, "If you call it medicine, you must believe that they're walking in that door trusting that it will work and not do them harm." While the star is obviously aiming to help others with the products that his cannabis company offers, he found himself in a surely unexpected situation after the aforementioned Forbes article shared what he was up to. After the piece was published, Forbes reported it was then republished elsewhere with altered information that promoted CBD products from a different company. Williams was then forced to take legal action to get his brand back, according to Leafly. The lawsuit was eventually settled, but it cost Williams 2 years of his time and hundreds of thousands of dollars. Before Montel Williams became a celebrity, he had a very different kind of career. After graduating high school in the 70s, he enlisted in the U.S. Marines. Per Military.com, he impressed his superiors during basic training with his leadership skills, and he was sent to the Naval Academy Preparatory School. While switching from the Marines to the Navy, he not only studied Mandarin Chinese, but he also graduated with a degree in general engineering, while minoring in international security affairs. With that impressive training behind him, he went on to work as a cryptologist officer for naval intelligence, among other roles and ranks. In fact, Military.com points out that it was during this time he realized his talent for public speaking, which led to him eventually becoming a talk show host. Nowadays, Williams continues to support military veterans, which is why, as Business Insider noted, he was given the Department of the Navy Superior Public Service Award in 2008, which he can display beside his Navy Achievement Medal, his Meritorious Service Medal, and his Navy Commendation Medal. Williams is also the famous face behind Military Makeover, which has a familiar TV show formula, but features a military-focused twist. Air Force magazine explains that the production aims to give deserving service members a home renovation. It's clear that Williams' military days are still close to his heart. Montel Williams may primarily be known as a TV host thanks to The Montel Williams Show, but he's also dabbled in acting. He's had a number of gigs over the years, popping up on popular series like Jag, My Name is Earl, Guiding Light, and Touched by an Angel, often playing someone from the military, which obviously draws on his own past and experiences while serving. More recently, Williams appeared as a character called Dream World Montel in 2019's Cool Cat's Crazy Dream, a video short that focuses on someone telling the audience about their dream about attending a star-studded party. He also played himself on the drama series The Resident that same year. Beyond that, Williams is willing to take his performing talents to the stage. If you're into off-Broadway plays, then you might have seen him in The Exonerated in the early thousands. According to Playbill, the story was based on interviews of dozens of former death row inmates. Montel Williams has stayed busy producing documentaries. He was behind 2017's Architects of Denial, which examined persecution of both Armenians and Christians in the Middle East, as well as 2019's Hate Among Us, which examined the rise in anti-Semitism, and 2020's Sky Blossom, which focuses on millennials who care for family dealing with medical conditions. Williams was also involved with The Real Skinny on Fat, which explores how the keto diet can improve health. In particular, the star believes it has helped him when it comes to multiple sclerosis. He chatted with Dr. Oz about the docuseries in 2019 and explained why he thinks this specific diet works. Suffice to say, Williams didn't leave the unscripted realm when his long-running talk show ended. While some celebrities refuse to speak out about their political beliefs out of the fear that they might alienate fans, there are other stars like Montel Williams who are perfectly willing to make their beliefs known. That's why he didn't hesitate to tell The Hill back in 2009, "I happen to be a registered independent. I was a Republican all my life. I left the Republican Party." Nowadays, Williams is a vocal supporter of LGBTQ causes and, as CNN reported, has attended events like the American Unity Fund, a conservative nonprofit that advocates for the LGBTQ community. As he said in a statement at the time, "There are a few misguided lawmakers who have lost sight of the fact that anything short of full freedom for our LGBT neighbors, friends, and co-workers is a threat to the freedom of all of us." Williams backed former Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton, a decision he wrote about in an essay for USA Today. He also spoke out against Donald Trump during his presidency, telling Variety, "This is the first commander-in-chief that I believe doesn't recognize what his role is and doesn't understand that people in the military are not pawns on a chessboard. He's responsible for their lives." He added, "The thing that bothers me the most about it is that 85% of this country is still so narcissistic, they don't care, and they won't care until it's too late." Montel Williams has spent decades in the entertainment industry and can surely consider himself to be a successful person thanks to his various endeavors and accomplishments. However, while other famous names who have dominated the talk show game are worth seriously staggering amounts of money, it turns out that Williams may not be as rich as you might think. These days, Williams has a relatively modest fortune that sits at $10 million, according to Celebrity Net Worth, which is obviously more than the average person has, but maybe not what he could have banked had his show still been on the air. Granted, he also makes money in other ways. He talked to Success about his motivation when it comes to juggling his many professional projects, admitting, "I hate to say it like this, but I'm like a crack addict with my companies." While he seemed to acknowledge the inappropriate association, he explained further by adding, "I'm an information junkie." The star also talked about wanting to help others succeed with the Living Well method, designed to help people succeed financially as well as in other areas in their lives, saying, "The Living Well method is about paying attention to the impediments in your life. If you can meet your own needs and contribute to society, that's what living well is." Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Nicki Swift videos about your favorite talk show hosts are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.